My beloved child, if right now you feel weighed down by numbers, if your heart sinks whenever you think about debts that have not yet been paid, if there are nights when you toss and turn without rest, pause for a moment and listen to me. I am here, right in the moment when you feel most alone. I see clearly every hidden worry, every time you tried to rise again though your heart was weary. Not one of your sighs is meaningless before me. I want you to understand that deliverance from debt is not only a change on paper or in an account, it is also deliverance from the fear that has clung to your thoughts, from the shame that makes you feel like a failure, from the tension that causes you to forget that you are still loved, even while your circumstances are not yet easy to breathe in. I do not call you my child because you are in abundance or in lack. I do not measure your worth by the money you have, the money you owe, or the number of times you have had to begin again. You belong to me before you had anything in your hands. And my love for you does not rise and fall according to your financial condition. Perhaps you are hoping for a quick breakthrough, a miracle that arrives at the right time, a help large enough for every burden to be lifted in a single moment. I do not despise that hope, because I am the one who knows the weariness of those surrounded by pressure. But I also want you to know that I do not lead you through panic. I do not hang blessing in front of you and threaten to take it away if you do not react in fear. What comes from me does not need to force you into haste. What I give does not bind you with anxiety. When I open a way, I open it in truth, in peace, in wisdom, and in love that does not change. Remember the servant of the prophet Elisha, who died and left his wife with a heavy debt. That widow stood at risk of losing both her sons, and in human eyes, she had almost nothing left to cling to. But I did not despise the small jar of oil in her house. I used the very thing that seemed little to open a flow sufficient for her to pay the debt and continue living. She had to borrow empty vessels, close the door, and pour out the oil in obedience, vessel by vessel, until there were no more vessels to contain it. Do you see? Deliverance does not only come through something falling from heaven many times. It begins when you look again at what I have already placed in your hands. Act according to wisdom, and believe that what is small under grace can become a source of sufficiency. In the same way, my child, do not despise what you have simply because it is not yet large enough to solve everything immediately. A small skill, a humble opportunity, a healthy relationship, a clear idea, a defined plan to repay debt, a corrected spending habit, quiet discipline, or asking for help at the right time. All of these can become empty vessels that I use to pour provision into. I can do the unexpected, but I also often do what is sustainable. I can open a great door, but I can also begin by teaching you to close the small leaks through which blessings have been draining out of your life. Do not let debt make you so ashamed that you hide from the light. What remains hidden for too long often becomes heavier. Have the courage to look directly at reality, not with despair, but with awareness. Know where you stand, what needs to be repaid, what is urgent, what can be rearranged, what needs to be negotiated, what needs to be reduced, and what you need to learn. I do not separate faith from responsibility. A person who trusts me is not one who closes their eyes to the numbers. but one who opens their eyes in peace and lets me teach them each wise step. Truth may make you tremble for a moment, but truth also opens the way to freedom. I know there are times when you feel as though you are standing between breakthrough and collapse. On one side is hope, and on the other is fear. On one side is the prayer for deliverance, and on the other is the whisper that everything is already too late. But my child, I do not want you to live on that boundary in panic. I want you to step out of that boundary through mature faith. Mature faith does not deny difficulty. It places difficulty under my light. It does not say everything is simple, but it says I am still with you in every complicated step. It does not wait for a magical number before becoming peaceful. It learns peace as it begins to do what is right today. If I give you expansion, receive it with gratitude, but do not let that expansion make you forget the source. If I send you an opportunity, enter it with humility, but do not trade away purity to keep it. If I give you the ability to earn more, steward it with moderation. Do not let greed dress itself in the clothing of faith and lead you away from wisdom. If I help you pay down the burden, remember the feeling of being lifted, so that later you will know how to lift others. True blessing does not make you hard. True blessing makes you more generous, more discerning, and more loving through concrete action. You also need to know that not every promise about money comes from me. There are voices that use urgency to strike at your fear. There are words clothed in spiritual language that make you anxious, greedy, rushed, or dependent. Discern carefully. What I speak will not pressure you to place your trust in an outward action to purchase blessing. What I speak will bring you back to truth, faithfulness, wisdom, peace, and love for me. When a word makes you afraid that I will leave you if you do not act immediately, know that it does not carry the tone of a merciful father. I correct you, but I do not manipulate you. I call you, but I do not threaten you in order to capture your attention. So today, open your heart, but open it with clarity. Ask me to help you be delivered from debt, but also ask me to teach you the path out of it. Ask me for opportunities, but also ask me for the strength to work steadily. Ask me for provision, but also ask me for a contented heart. Ask me for restoration, but also ask me to heal the old habits that brought you into cycles of lack. I do not only want to bring you out of one difficult season, I want to teach you to live a freer, cleaner, lighter, and steadier life. My beloved child, I have never turned my back on you during the months of debt, worry, or delay. I was still there when you paid each small portion. I was still there when you had to speak a hard truth. I was still there when you learned how to refuse what was unnecessary. I was still there when you practiced discipline again. I was still there when you received unexpected help. I was still there when you saw nothing change, yet still chose not to give up. Do not measure my presence only by the speed at which circumstances change. There are days when I have not yet changed the circumstances immediately, but I am changing your endurance, your perspective, your decisions, your direction, and the inner foundation within you. Be at peace, my child. The deliverance you are waiting for may come through many paths, and I am wise enough to lead you into the right one. Do not fear that your blessing will be taken from my hands because of one moment of weakness. Return, listen, do what is right, and walk step by step in the light. I am the one who sees your need, the one who teaches you to steward, the one who opens doors at the right time, the one who turns little into enough, and the one who can restore even the places you thought were too late. You do not have to live under the yoke of fear. You are invited to step into freedom through faith, truth, wisdom, and my steadfast love. My beloved child, listen with a peaceful heart. I have sent my messengers to stand guard over the things that belong to you and need to be protected. There are battles you do not see, forms of opposition you do not fully understand, and silent pressures that have tried to exhaust you before you could touch the season of restoration. But I have not abandoned you in that battle. I have placed protection around what I am preparing for you, so that what I have appointed to give will not be swallowed by fear, delay, or the destruction of darkness. I know how deeply financial pain has weighed upon your heart. I know the days when you had to calculate every small amount, the times when you looked at the need before you and felt your heart choke because you did not know how to manage. I was there when you had to count every coin in shame. I saw you try to smile before others, while inside you there was a storm of anxiety, pressure, and despair. I saw the nights when you lay still. Yet your mind never stopped running after questions about tomorrow. Not one of your prayers has been ignored by me. Not one of your sighs has fallen into empty space. When you cried because of financial burdens, I heard. When you felt you had nothing left to offer except a weary heart, I still received your sincerity. When you still chose to sow what was good while you yourself were in lack, I saw. When you still tried to live uprightly, still tried to trust, you still tried not to let poverty harden your heart, I remembered. My child, the enemy tried to sow into your heart the thought that I had forgotten. He wanted you to believe that your sacrifice was meaningless, that your faithfulness brought nothing, that the tears you sowed in the night would never bear fruit. But I say to you, I never forget the faithful. I do not forget the times you gave in secret. I do not forget the moments you chose to do what was right, though no one saw. I do not forget the prayers choked by tears. I am opening over you a season of support, a season in which restoration will touch not only your finances, but also your faith, dignity, and peace. What I give is not only meant to fill your hands. I want to remove from your heart the fear of lack that has clung to you for too long. I do not want you to keep living with a mind always expecting disaster. I want you to learn that my provision does not come from pity, but from the covenant love of a father toward his child. I am commanding doors once closed to open, according to my timing. I am moving away obstacles you do not have the strength to remove on your own. I am touching hearts, arranging opportunities, and placing you where what needs to come to you can come in holy order. There are things you thought were delayed, but in truth, I was protecting them from arriving too early. Before you were steady enough to steward them, there are things you thought were lost, but in my hands, they are only being prepared to return in a better way. Do not close your heart in this hour. Do not let old disappointments make you afraid to hope. Do not let the prayers that have not yet shown results make you think I no longer speak. Do not let weariness cause you to reject what I want to restore. Open your heart before me, not with haste, but with humble faith. Let me teach you to receive without fear, to steward without arrogance, and to enter abundance without leaving my presence. Your season of reward is not a display of human pride, but the revelation of my faithfulness. When I restore you, it will testify that I was with you even in the silent seasons. When I lift you up, it will show that the years of waiting were not useless. When I open the way, you will understand that every tear, every prayer, and every faithful act in the hidden place was seen by me. My messengers stand in obedience before what I have spoken. Heaven is not confused by your need. I am not limited by numbers, debts, closed doors, or what others say about your future. I am the provider. I am the restorer. I am the one who can turn dry ground into streams, lack into a lesson of faith, and years of struggle into the foundation of wisdom. You will not only receive support, you will learn how to stand steadily within that support. I will not only open a way, I will teach you how to walk rightly on that way. I will not only add more, I will teach you to keep your heart pure when more is given. For what I desire for you is not merely a moment of relief, but a life restored into order, peace, and trust. Therefore, rise in faith. Do not let fear speak in place of your prayer. Do not let old lack decide how you see the future. Do not let delay make you doubt my mercy. I saw you in the hidden place, and I will restore you in a way that glorifies my name. What I am doing in your life will not only be an answer to today's need, but also a sign that I have never left you, never forgotten you, and never stopped preparing what is good for you. My child, in this hour, I am calling the deepest part within you to stand firm, open, and receive what I am restoring. Do not bow your head before the feeling of lack as though it were your name. Do not live under the old garment of anxiety as though you were born only to carry debt, to wait, and to patch each day with fear. I speak to you with the love of a father who sees everything you have quietly endured. The chain of poverty has no authority to rule you forever. The financial pressures that have followed your family through many seasons, through many stories, through many tears falling in silence, are no longer allowed to define your future. I have stepped into the place you thought was only a dead end, and I declare that it must stop. Enough of the nights when you calculated in weariness. Enough of the days when you looked at the needs before you with a heavy heart. Enough of the times when you wondered whether you would ever escape the old cycle. My beloved child, debt is not your identity. Lack is not your final inheritance. And delay is not the road I have written for you. There are burdens that have sat too long upon your shoulders, causing you to forget that you are called to walk more lightly, more spaciously, more purely. I did not create you to be suffocated by numbers all your life, nor to have the purpose within you buried beneath the pressure of daily needs, responsibilities, and payments. I know money is not everything, but I also know that when needs pile up, the heart becomes weary, vision grows narrow, and the noble calling within you can be drowned out by the noise of survival. Therefore, I do not only want you to have one moment of rescue, I want you to step into ordered freedom, where you know how to steward, receive, preserve, give, and live without being ruled by the fear of poverty. What I am about to do in your life is not a passing stroke of luck. It is not a shady door, not a new debt dressed as an opportunity, not support that requires you to trade away peace or dignity. What I give comes from my righteousness, from the mercy that followed you in the days when you thought you had been left behind. I am realigning what has gone off course, returning to you the courage that was worn down, reopening the streams that were blocked by fear. Ignorance, haste, or burdens passed down from before. You will learn not only to escape lack, but to escape the mindset of lack. For some receive more resources while still trembling inside as though they are about to lose everything. I want you to be freer than that. I want you to carry abundance with a peaceful heart. If this word is touching you, if something within you is trembling, as though a door has just been gently knocked upon, understand that it is not meant to excite you with a passing emotion. It is an invitation to return to pure faith. Do not turn expectation into haste. And do not let doubt extinguish the good I am sowing. There are promises that must be received with humility, not with noise. There are seasons of shifting that begin with a quiet decision. You stop agreeing with the old story about yourself. You stop saying, "My family has always been this way. My life only goes this far. Opportunity is not for me. Good things always come to others." Those words once created a narrow room in your mind. But I am opening the door. You do not need to keep living in the place that has made you feel suffocated. Let your mouth learn to speak what is good. Let your heart learn to believe what is true. And let your hands learn to prepare for what I am bringing. My treasures are not only money, my child. Sometimes the treasure is a timely idea. Sometimes it is a person placed on your path. Sometimes it is a small opportunity that leads to a wide field. Sometimes it is the wisdom to cut away what is leaking resources. Sometimes it is the courage to refuse a habit that has quietly consumed your future. I can provide in ways you have never imagined. But you must also allow me to teach you to become a steady vessel. When the source of blessing comes, do not let it flow through the holes of haste, display, pride, or lack of discipline. Allow me to place order in the way you see money, the way you use it, the way you save, the way you sow, and the way you receive. Sustainable abundance is not only found in what is added, but in the maturity built within you. I saw you being misunderstood while still trying to believe. I saw the times you were mocked because you still had hope. I saw you keep praying, even though the answer had not arrived in the way you expected. I saw you wipe your tears and keep walking, still caring for others, still keeping your heart from bitterness. Nothing has been forgotten before me. The nights when you quietly looked up and asked why everything was so heavy, I was there. The times when you tried to appear fine so your loved ones would not worry, I was there. The times when you gave in silence, though you yourself needed to be lifted up, I was there. I do not make light of your hidden sacrifices. I do not overlook seeds sown in lack. And when the harvest comes, you will understand that what I nurtured in silence was never small. There were resisting forces that tried to keep you in the old cycle, fear, shame, the habit of delay, self-doubt, memories of failure, and the voices of those who once made you believe you were not capable. But I am placing protection around you through my light. I am blocking the things that want to pull you back into the old way of living. I am teaching you to distinguish between a true opportunity and a trap beautifully decorated. I am reminding you that not every open door comes from me. But the door I open will not steal your peace. As you enter the new season, walk slowly enough to hear, alert enough to examine, tender enough to learn, and steady enough not to negotiate with what once wounded you. My verdict over your life is not that you are forgotten, but that you are remembered. Not that you are excluded from blessing, but that you are being prepared to receive at the right time. Not that you were born to live in lack, but that you are being led into provision with purpose. I do not only want you to have enough for yourself, I want you to become a good stream for others. But first, I want you to realize that you no longer have to live as one standing outside the door. You are my child. You are allowed to hope. You are allowed to rebuild. You are allowed to escape the old story. You are allowed to learn how to prosper while remaining pure, to be lifted while remaining humble, and to have abundance while remaining grateful. Therefore, stand firm. Receive with a peaceful heart, not with haste. Let my word wash away the fear that has clung to you for too long. Let your faith be rebuilt not on passing emotion, but on my faithfulness. What once restrained the purpose within you will not have the final word. What once made you bow your head will become the place where you learn to stand upright. The tears once shed in silence will not be wasted. I am turning them into evidence of perseverance, into soil for a new season, into a reminder that you did not pass through the darkness alone. My child, open your heart. I am restoring, guiding, arranging, and teaching you to step into the freedom you have prayed for so long. And when the way opens, you will not only rejoice because of what you receive, you will bow in gratitude because you recognize that I was always with you. Even in the days when you thought there was nothing left to hold on to, there will be voices that try to make you doubt what I am speaking. But keep your heart steady, because not every word of doubt deserves your attention. There are whispers that will come very softly, saying that this is too good to happen, that you have hoped too much, that you should lower your expectations so you will not be disappointed again. But my child, do not let old pain teach you to shrink your faith. Do not let previous waiting make you think I am no longer acting. I am still the one who prepares a way for you right in the place where others thought you would be buried. I am still the one who seats you at the table of favor before the eyes that once doubted, judged, and spoke unloving words behind your back. My beloved child, this moment is not an imagination born from your desire, but the opening of a promise I have preserved through many seasons. Those who once said you would not overcome will have to see me lift you in a way no one can deny. Those who once made light of your faithfulness will have to witness my blessing being poured upon your life like timely rain upon dry ground. But when this happens, I do not want your heart to become hard. Do not use blessing to take revenge. Do not use my lifting to wound anyone in return. Let your prosperity become testimony, not a weapon of pride. Let your hands touch what your faith has patiently held on to, but touch it with humility and gratitude. What I am sending is not only to lift you out of lack, but also to break the heavy cycles that have clung to your family through many generations. I do not want you to have only enough to survive each day, nor do I want you to keep carrying the mindset of someone always being chased by need. I am teaching you to enter a new order, where you are no longer controlled by debt, fear, and lack. You will become someone who can support others, someone who knows how to give at the right time, someone who knows how to use what I place in your hands to rebuild what has been ruined. The abundance I give is not for show. It is so you may become a flow of my kindness on this earth. You will be entrusted to do things far beyond your own needs. You will help support good works, nurture pure missions, shelter the poor, help the weary, and open paths for those who have no way. Every resource I place in your hands carries purpose. Do not see it as a reward for self-satisfaction. See it as a holy stewardship. When you manage with wisdom, I will cause the small to multiply. When you keep your heart pure, I will keep what is entrusted from becoming a burden. When you know how to share with love, I will cause the blessing in your hands not to run dry, but to keep flowing out and returning in ways you cannot measure. You asked for doors to open, but I am preparing wider entrances than you imagined. You asked for help, but I am sending timely people, healthy connections, people who do not come to drain you, but to build with you. You asked for a breakthrough, but I am giving you a season of abundance with foundation, order, peace, and purpose. Be faithful with what I entrust. Whether it begins small or comes in sudden greatness, do not let increase make you forget the one who lifted you. Do not let money sit in the place in your heart that belongs only to me. Let everything you receive become a reason for you to love more deeply, serve more purely, and walk more steadily. I do not bless you halfway. When I restore to the root. When I open a way, I open it with wisdom beyond your calculations. When I place favor upon you, it does not only change your circumstances, it changes the way you see yourself and your future. This is not merely a small breakthrough so you can breathe more easily for a moment. This is a complete re-establishing in the way you live. Steward, receive, and give. Be ready, my child, for what I do will carry the mark of peace, holiness, and unwavering faithfulness.